A little sore. Throat's a little sore today. We can deal with it. Meow. Ooh, alright. Let's finish the basing on these guys since I got the paints back that I needed. Speaking of which. The hell did I put those paints? Oh, okay. How's everyone doing? What's everyone up to? The hell did my runic gray go? Where you at? There it is. And then we're going to finish up the cultist. Maybe we'll do the bugs. And don't you worry. This isn't the end of the project, so I decided to be an idiot. I remembered that we had all those Mutalith Vortex beasts. That was good. It was a good play. And which means I have the parts to do a thing, so you know. we've got stuff to do. What's up, Dragon? What's up, Shammy? Yeah, we are not for lack of projects, which is pretty legit. I definitely feel better. Oh god, I forgot that I switched over to the collapsible cup for water. Hang on. Oh, what kind of duo? Was it 2 on the table or was it a combined score? Because I know there's like different versions of duos. I had a pretty cool idea for a multi-person 40k team tournament idea. Like it was I thought it could be pretty fun. I think it's kind of based off of a tournament I watched through Wargames Live. I don't know if they did it exactly this way or if they did it like a slightly different way and I'm just like kind of adjusting it. I don't remember. But like I've been trying to figure out like a fun system. Oh, both on the same play space. Damn. So Wargames Live covered a tournament that's a 3-on-3, right? It's different tables, so you're not like 3 people on the same table moving around doing stuff. But it brought up this interesting idea that I had based on what I was watching, because there's basically every team v team became this this situation where you had like decks of cards, right, with people's names on it, and you would roll a dice for who had initiative as to who would pick which team got the mission first. So there'd be 3 tables, and I think the tables had different general missions on them. And you would know in advance. You'd be like, all right, well, table 1 is this like take and hold, diminishing objective type setup. So we need a team that's fast over there and stuff. So you kind of build lists meant for specific types of missions. And you would match people up based on that. Like you would lean into being like, all right, well, I'm sending this person from my team to this table to try to do the mission. And then the opponent would then pick their person, and it would go back and forth that way for all 3 tables. So you kind of had like a matchmaking system of just having to do like the Pokemon I choose you concept, right? Moonlit Fantasy, that's the one with the guy who gets isekai'd, but the goddess hates him because he's plain looking, so she makes him a monster. But then it turns out he has all these like incredible abilities based on like his history and his knowledge of archery and stuff, and his like breathing that's basically made him equivalent to a god. So now he's like, he exists as the counterpoint to the heroes who are assholes. Yeah, it's almost like Draft, but my adaptation to it was this. So you have 3 people on your team, right? One person has to build a list where you have more tanks and monsters than any other thing. One person has to build a list that has more battle line. And one person has to build a list that has more mounted and beast than anything else. Go. So you have these 3 list possibilities. And I feel like it's a cool idea until you realize not everyone has massive collections of things, and it might like ostracize some people from wanting to play. But like, wouldn't it be cool for someone to be like, well, the team we have that's mostly mounted and beast is really good anti-tank and monster. So like you hold them in your back pocket and you wait for the person that's matching to be like, all right, my tanks and monsters are gonna go to this map, and then you go, sweet, we'll send our mounted and beast that way because they're really good against tanks and monsters. Or maybe their battle line's good because they have a bunch of transports and like they're mostly like melta-guns and stuff, and they're just like, yeah, I handle monsters pretty easily. Not an issue. Like, I thought that would be a cool idea to kind of force list building into like different avenues of having to develop interesting builds that might counter other builds or might just exist as like a good standalone universal build. Could be cool, but like I feel like that would only pull in people who really collect. Cause like I could do it with my 1,000 Suns. Someone could be like, yo, you want to be the tanks and monsters? And I'd be like, yeah, Mutilate Vortex Beasts, Hell Brutes, Forge Fiends, frickin' Magnus, let's go. I got it. I can be the tanks monsters. I think Moonlit Fantasy is the only anime I'm really watching outside of the unconventional healer one. The unconventional healer one's good. Although the last 2 episodes have just been like flashback episodes, which are, I hate that in anime where they're just like, all right, we're gonna hit you with a flashback, and it's like great. Like you didn't have to show me the entire story of the original healer. I was already on board. She already kind of revealed a bunch. It was fine the way it was. You didn't have to give me the full context. Because unless the full context heavily changed my opinion on something, like maybe it gave me a different view of the demon army and made them seem like less evil, but more just like misunderstood, then maybe. But like the demon army was what you expected. They're the demon army. So like I didn't learn anything new. I didn't walk into it with new information. I just wanted the big fight to happen, man. But yeah, I'd want to go to that. Especially with like my local league. There's a few players. There's a Tyranid player who has like everything, right? Like he could play so much on the field. Like he could be really good. I could build around I could build around a concept. I could build around any of them, really. I could go Beast and Mounted easily as a Thousand Sun player, which is kind of crazy. Because I have the full amount of Chaos Spawn. So even though I'd only have 6 Chaos Spawn on the field, they would cost so little that I could easily fill with, like, other stuff. It would be 2 squads Zangor Enlightened and 3 Chaos Spawn, which would mean I could even split one of the squads of Zangor Enlightened up. Like, I could split the archers up into 2 squads, which would then give me 6 choices to put on the field. And honestly, I would probably try to run a Enlightened or a Exalted Sorcerer on a disc. Just because I do like running them solo. They do some good work. Dude, recap episode. The thing, like, I love anime. I hate friggin' standard anime practices of, like, recap episodes and stuff. Like, I can't. I hate it so much. I don't know why they do it. It's just obnoxious. Oh, I know. Okay, I know why they do it. As an anime company, you're told that you have, like, X amount of budget, right? You're just told this is your budget. You have to stay within budget. So the anime companies try to find ways to extend budget by basically pre-planning for episodes that are almost entirely filler, low requirement animation, as well as repeated stuff from prior episodes. It's how they conserve and do like a rest episode in preparation for like a big episode that's like higher in cost and budgeting. But like I still hate it. I just like, I wish we didn't have to do that. I wish that wasn't like a way we had to go. I kind of get it, I guess. I guess. Let me get the broadsword silver. But yeah, once these guys are done, I've got the components I need on hand to build a converted Thousand Sun Tzeentch themed Knight Castigator. And I think I have the box to put it in as well. We eating good, boys. We got a lot of projects to work on now. I think I want to record the Castigator too. So he's cool in the Chaos Knights setup because he actually provides Sustained 1 to War Dogs. And Sustained 1 is really good because the meta right now is Brigands. Basically anything with an Avenger chain cannon. You can go Stalkers as long as you take Avenger chain cannons on them for the most part. Because the Demon Breath, Meltaguns and stuff, they're good. But they're just not efficient. God, it's why I really... So on Spawncast, occasionally we start talking about anime. Like, it occasionally walks that way for, you know, just topic stuff because of, like, anime-based games coming out and things. I gotta tell you, man, I hate the conversations we have about anime. Because, like, the only people we have on the show that watch anime only watch shonen. So, like, they're stuck in the shonen loop. Like, they've got shonen brain. Which is that, like, the only kind of anime they want to watch is shonen. Where it's just people yelling. The main character just always seems to get enough power to beat the enemy. Like, that kind of stuff. Like, none of them like bigger stories. So, like, when Josie was like, I don't like anime like that. And next thing you know, OJ's just like, well, watch Bleach. It's like, dude, Bleach is the exact same fucking thing. What are you saying? Like, Bleach is just another shonen. She might like Slice of Life. I have a few of those in my back pocket. As like good anime choices. Because like they're really good stories. They have good character building. It's so crazy. So crazy. Hit this with solid metallic going forward. Be a good baseline for it. I am really pissed I didn't get to go to my game yesterday. I was so excited to get some recording done for my Mutalith Vortex Beast video. I was so happy that I was finally going to be able to, like, do the thing I kind of wanted to do years ago. But Dr. Stone is very close to a shonen anime. Like, it's just so close. It's closer to a JoJo, honestly, like the Absurdity anime. Which, like, if she likes Absurdity anime, which is probably something she hasn't tried, yeah. Yeah, that's fine. You know? She'll at least have a genre where it's like, oh yeah, I do like Absurdity anime, and it's like, okay, well we can work from there. Because my thing is, right, like whenever people start telling people who don't watch anime, like we're like, I don't enjoy it. Whenever they start chucking anime at them, I always see like the pattern, right? And it's always, oh, did you not watch DBZ? It's like, okay, that's a shonen. And then they're like, yeah, I watched it. It's just a bunch of screaming. And then the main character wins. Like, that's not interesting to me. And then they just start going down the list of like all other shonen anime that's the exact same thing. And then it's like, how do you not get that you should probably switch it up? There's so many other options. Like, I don't know. She might enjoy. I gotta look up some of the old slice of life oddities that I used to watch. My teen romantic comedy snafus. Which I gotta... look up the actual word. This was an amazing series for me. It was really good story writing. Yeah, Yahari Ore. No, Saishun. Lovecom. It was a great approach to character building. And kind of subverting standard Lovecom storylines by having a person who's a realist that's a part of it. So, like, from my perspective, that could be a good one for her to check out. But everyone on our show is just shonen-brained. So all their suggestions are just the most basic shonen anime. Like, humanly possible. Like, I feel like they say the names of the anime out loud just to prove that they watch anime and not so much that they know what they're talking about. Like, it's weird. We gotta get Black Templar somewhere so I can shade up the inside a little bit. Gotta try to get a game in this weekend, man. I got a gun for it. Like, I'm so fucking annoyed. This is the second time my parents have been back from Florida and have needed me to do work for them and didn't give me the common courtesy to be like, hey, just by the way, we're sick. So when you come over here, we're going to try to, like, not interact with you. That way, you know, you can not get sick. Instead, they're just like, hey, come over. And then I go over, and I'm just hanging out with them for a bit, and then they start coughing and sneezing, and I'm like, God damn it. Why do you do this to me? And they're like, it's not a big deal. Like, it's a huge deal. You're about to ruin my schedule. I had plans. Like, I almost tried to sit down and record the Underworlds video, but like the whole time I was doing it, like I was losing track of the rules, like in my head. I was so out of it because I only had like 4 hours of sleep for like 2 days because my nose would close up while sleeping. Like, I would fall asleep for about 10 minutes and my nose would close up, and then I would be forced to wake because my body's like, yo, you're dying. And I was like, ah. Like, genuinely got no sleep. There's a paint day today. I could debate going to it. A store that's about 25 minutes from here is trying to really spark up its tabletop gaming community local to it. And they're kind of getting help from some of the people from the group that I'm a part of locally. So they're doing like they set up a back room for gaming, and they're like, we're gonna try it this year. We're gonna try to get people out here. Their whole thing is, though, if it doesn't work out, they'll probably just, you know, turn that back room into a place to like store stuff, or maybe put on little examples of some of their products. Since I feel like they mostly sell remote control car parts, because they're a big proprietor of custom built remote control parts, where you can kind of like get your own shocks, and like you actually make a pretty decent custom car based on the way you like to, you know, drive, and then I guess people race them against each other in like local tracks or something, which is a cool idea, because then, you know, you get a bunch of parts, you can build a bunch of different cars, or just readjust the one car you own over and over based on where you're taking it. So it's a cool idea, I think. I think it's pretty good. Still a little nasally. I kind of want to like help support them. Timing wise now, though, it's not that great. I could easily see myself being able to go there like next month. It's only 5 to 8, so I'd get home in enough time to, you know, actually get the editing done for the day. I think it could be cool to just get out and get some stuff painted. Although it is that situation of like, I kind of want to just paint on stream, because then it gives me something to do here. And I'm not like this constant machine of painting. Like, I actually see an end game. Let's do Luxion Purple on the book. I'm feeling that. I'm feeling the Luxion Purple. We also got to get that belt done. Maybe I'm just going to do... I might continue with Leviathan for the belt. Hopefully everyone's doing alright, though. It's Monday, so it'll probably be a little slow. I don't want to, like, overstay either. Don't want to, like, take too long here. We've made some good distance, I feel like, on everything we've painted these past couple weeks. The emergency MVB painting. All the units we did for the Blackrock. Which, this has been fun, just because of how different they all are. Like, the whole notion of just like, oh, I don't have to paint everyone exactly the same. It's kind of slowed things down because I do have to take every model for like their own thing. I can't just go step by step through all the models like I did with like the kill team for scouts and stuff, where it's like, oh, now I use this color green, or now I use this speed paint specifically on these specific parts for all of them. And it's just like basic, I guess. Like, you're just quickly getting through it at that point. Having to go person to person and be like, all right, well, I need all the greens for her. I'm gonna need this guy to be like mostly brown. Like, there's just an element of like having to think more and more about the specific things I'm applying to these units and what they mean in the long run. How to give them like their own personal taste. What the hell's that? Oh, that's in the song. It sounded like water was running. I was like, oh no. We got some wiring to do on this person in a second. Also, what's cool about this castigator that I'm actually kind of looking forward to, these are highly posable. This version of the knight is highly posable, and most people just have them kind of standing upright with their guns to their sides. You know, they don't really want to like push too hard to like be crazy, which is fine. But I'm looking at it and I can't not think of pushing. All I can think is, ooh, what can I do with this? How far can we take this idea? So I have a pose in mind that I'm hoping we can pull off. And it's going to be kind of a turned sideways pose, leaning back a bit. Like, the character's going to be kind of weight on the back leg. And then its bolt cannon is going to be facing kind of away to the side of the vehicle. And I'm going to see if the upper body can look that direction. Like if the upper torso can be twisted that way and the head can be twisted that way. So that it looks like he's looking where the bolt cannon's shooting. And then I'm going to have the sword kind of back. And like looking like it's getting ready to be like swung at something maybe that's coming at it while it's just shooting in a direction. And I might look into Etsy to get some of those pieces that you can glue to things to be like, oh, this is a gun being shot, and then you paint them up that way where it's like bright colors. I think that could look pretty cool. And then I might grab some thin wire gauge to make it look like the power weapon's actually like excreting power. Like it's being charged up. Maybe hit it with some OSL. Could be good. Could be good. Let's get the wires. I think we just do flesh tears. We lean into it. Flesh tears is a good wire color. Because it's semi... God, I gotta get something for this. It's semi glossy at times. Like it's a little glossy. But it's just like a very solid red. This is one of the few contrast paints I've used that actively is able to go over top of like any other color and not pull that color up. Like most contrast paints have an element of the color they're on top of in them. How you can like pre-shade things and do like some fun effects. Freaking Flesh Tear's Red is just like, nah, this is Flesh Tear's Red now. There is no color before me. I am your new god. It's great. I love it. Hopefully I have good enough bits to change out the power sword, though. It's like the one thing I don't like on the Castigator model. Is that its giant power sword just looks too bland, too basic. It's literally just, this is power sword. And that's kind of like a sad thing. But if I can look around, I'm going to try to pre-establish some fun stuff using chaos bits, because I have like demon prince bits. I also have like giant Zinch daemon or greater daemon of change and stuff bits. So like there's a level to which I think this could be good, because like I could try to intersplice like the symbol of Zinch onto it. I have like all those extra shields from not just the Zangors. The Zangor shields are good, but they're small. The shields that are actually really awesome come from the Kyrics. The Kyrics have nothing you need to clip off the back of them. They're literally just full shields without any issue. Oh yeah, there we go. Which is really cool. Because then you just have shields. You just put shields on stuff. So I'll be able to create like an interesting hilt, maybe. All right, so base colors are pretty much done. Now we got to hit it with actual colors. Layer paints, things like that. Give it the shining silver hit. And all the peaks for the armor. Oh god. Still a little tired. I haven't fully recovered and lost sleep, but definitely better than it was. Like last night I went to sleep. I was like, and I'm out. And just like blacked out completely. Woke up for my alarm, not before it. Super good. Oh, I didn't. I'm actually not done. I keep forgetting there's a. This one has purity seals on it. Paint them white again. Get them based properly. Goddamn purity seals. Finish that up in a little bit. He's got a wire, or she's rather, I think it's a she. I think this is a, because when I looked online, they were like Sisters of Battle, and this was one of the images. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. He's got a wire on here. We gotta head up a little bit there. There we go. We need some brassing, some like actual brass, metallic, not just the speed paint. Thinking that maybe I hit the end of this with a typhus corrosion a little bit. I think we'll definitely hit it with some oxidization as well. Make it look not at all safe. The very faith in their emperor is what's kept it from exploding this whole time. try to pin wash a little bit with the blue, wherever the hell that is, Draken Shade. A couple spots, really. Ugh. A little mucusy today, but it's not that bad. Let me start adding a couple effects. I might do deep blue as a bit of a highlight. I'm pretty sure the white on her purity seals are probably good, so we can hit them up now. I can layer the head up first, actually, because the flesh tone layering isn't going to take much time. Can probably also quickly do a highlight layer on the big fiery tank. quick little touch up. Where's my flesh tones? I like Kislev, but I think this person's gonna be really pale. So we're going flayed ones. Means I gotta mix this garbage up. God, this crap is like a wash. Oh my god. Try to do the Draken shade really lightly in the eyes. Darken the eye sockets up a lot. Perfect. All right. Typhus corrosion. Hopefully it's not completely dry because I haven't used it in forever. Sounds good. Don't want to use this brush. The problem with Typhus corrosion is it's basically paste with small particles in it. Small crunchy particles. So you kind of want to use a semi-messed up brush that you're not that worried about. And you just lay it on in all the spots where you're like, hell yeah, this will work. There we go. Some corrosion spots. And then we finish up with one of my favorite technical paints in the line, Nihilic Oxidization. Put it around some of the inner edges of the piping. Question is, can I hit all the studs on this with silver without messing it up? not. Holding my breath, getting that to work. All right. One of the last technical paints needed. Blood for the blood god. Extra gory. There were 2 wires on her face mask. I think would be good for flesh tears, and then we can apply the basing material. What's up, Quendy? Yeah, let me pull this guy up close. Do the close up. Yeah, come on, focus. Fun cultist, or not cultist, rather. I mean, it could be used as a cultist, because this basically just looks like a friggin' cultist. Fun fanatic. Now let me do... Ooh. Orcs. Doing orc things. So his front's gonna be here. Back into this. Sadly, I didn't get in my Mutal Vortex Beast game. I was sick freaking all weekend. Just coming back down from it now. I'm gonna try to get the game in this weekend, hopefully. Kind of one of my big goals. I also didn't get to record the stuff for the video I wanted out today, just because it's like, I was thinking of it, and then the whole time I was trying to piece it together and get the rules together, like my brain was just like, hey, guess what? We're not going to work properly today. And it's like, oh no. No. Why? But we're getting there. I was able to sleep last night, which is a big improvement. Today I'm only a little sniffly. Part of me wants to do the Pope. The other part of me wants to open up this this night and start working on it. Getting the conversions together. Servo Pope. Let me try to brighten this up real quick. So I guess you saw the new mech boy. Thinking of getting him. What is he? He's a Big Mac, I think is what they call him. Big Mac with cheese. Double quarter pounder. Fix up some of this. This is the problem of buying new models while you're working on like old ones. Now my brain's just like, yo, we should really figure this out. We got all the parts here. We can just spend some time. You know, bust out the green stuff, take a look at what you think might be good. Get the pose going. Figure out which armor pieces need to go on, which ones can stay off for a bit. So you're done doing some base painting. It really does make it so that I have options, though. Like, I have 3 of the larger knights. And having 3 of those knights just... It makes you have so much points options. Because I have 6 war dogs that can become a pretty good spread of options. I should probably take a look and see the plans, though, for him. I know someone in the Discord was like, yo, may the magnet god be with you. I don't know if I can magnetize him to be anything else. Because I think they figured out a way to make it so that you would buy an individual box. And you got the one Questoris that box claims it is. And then that's it. Like, you don't get the ability to be like, oh, or I could take this one. That's kind of something I think I need to look at real quick. Do I even need to care about magnetizing? Servo Pope. Let me actually take a look at that. 'Cause I still haven't looked at the plans for this guy. Super bright for you guys, I'm guessing. Let me turn the gain down for now. So yeah, these are almost fully articulate, which is kind of nice. Even the feet are just like each individual foot pad. The big thing is this. The ankle stuff where it's like 3 servos that you have to put the individual servos together, and then you can align them as you think they need to be aligned. There's a lot of flexibility to be able to create a pose. Alright, these are definitely able to be kept off. I think I want to figure out how to cover these up. Because, like, these are the old symbols. And, like, that's the main thing. I might file them down. But I think I need to figure out how to cover them up with, like, the shields that I have from the frickin' the Kyrex. Upper body seems pretty basic. You get to weird shit like this, though, where you're like, what the hell? And there's just, like, 10 pieces, including tiny pieces, that need to be put together. Bolt cannon's pretty flexible. Then they give you this thing that you literally build the ammo chain and you don't... I think you have to glue a part. I don't remember. There's like a specific piece you have to glue, or maybe not. Maybe they actually just fully snap together to make a completely adjustable belt, which would be crazy. They got the guy in the seat on the inside, which is nuts. I might actually go crazy with this, though. I might, like, instead of putting him together like they show, I might put, like, a skull on top, and then put him in the seat, and then get, like, green stuff, and have the green stuff look like it's morphing into the background, like he died and is fusing with the vehicle. I don't know, because that's one of the things where it feels more like a regular Chaos Space Marine army versus how Thousand Suns work. The helmet, I'm hoping, is the same size as the other one, because I still have a bunch of the helmets from the Chaos Abominant box that I bought. So yeah, they show him standing like this, right? But like, I want him to be in like a pretty cool action pose, so we're gonna try to figure that out. Because that just looks... Dude, I hate how that looks. It looks so like, depressing. Like, he's just kind of like, yeah, I guess I'm here. I guess we can, you know, do stuff. Turn the gain back up. Hit him with a little bit more gold contrast, slightly darker than the glittering gold that he originally was. I love the idea of this guy just being super opulent while still being like in the battle. He's like, yeah, we got this. gotta use an actual gold. Oh, crap. No, I'm gonna fix this one. This is the one that got screwed up somehow, and I don't know how. Where the quirk got stuck in it. There we go. Like, I don't know how so much paint got out. Man. Man, I'm kind of feeling it, but not really feeling it. What the hell is this? I think this loaded wrong. Oh my god, it did. I was like, what? It's freaking me out for a second there. Okay, let's go with bright gold on these spots. Alright, he's going to be extra opulent. We're doing it. Luxion purple. This is going to be some contrast over metal. Contrast over metal. Hell yeah. Servo Pope. Oh. Maybe inside of this way as well. Alright, let's get his flats together. We got a lot to do here. Need some of that Golem and flesh, wherever the hell I put it. Pretty sure I kept it out. We had a lot to do with it that one time. Shyish. Leviathan. Ah. I don't think he's using his actual hands. No, that's a robot hand. This is his actual hand, though, over here. Not a robot hand. Alright, let's make the skull actually have a baseline of skeleton bone. That way he doesn't look exactly the same as the purity seals once I hit them. This one's mostly metal, though. Hang on. I'll do a bit of it in bone. He's definitely mostly metallic. Let's not use a thin brush for this. At least not right away. There's a lot of parts on this guy that are just straight metallic. I do like me some Servo Pope. I thought he had a beard. He does not. I have to go back into his face with Gollum and flesh. Like, genuinely thought he had a beard. So I only hit the areas above his cheekbones with the flesh tone. What up, Rax? You ready to go to your interview? How'd it go? Or is that later in the day? One hun percent. 100%. Let's do the border in gold. Oh, not bad. Not bad. We're just painting up Servo Pope here. We finished up the Flamethrower Chainsword Zealot. And we looked over the plans for the giant knight that I bought to try to figure out what I could do with it. I'm kind of interested in starting, but I definitely want to record the building process. Since this is going to be a conversion, and I do feel like there's a lot of people on YouTube who like seeing conversions of like Imperial stuff to Chaos. Because there's a lot of like items that exist that are Chaos, but like you can only buy them from the Imperial side of the game. So people like seeing like how-tos as to how to make something look Chaos enough. So I think it could be fun. Because I have the parts. I just got to do the thing. Yeah, it's this giant guy. I think I posted a picture of him, so I'm like, dude, this box is way too big. Oh, he's too huge. It'll be really fun to build him and put him together and get him going. For now, I kind of want to get this guy going. That way we have maybe time later in the week to work on the Rogue Trader character. And then maybe the Ratlings. Oh god. At least I'm not sick or as sick anymore. Still coming down from it. I don't feel groggy. Skip. Where's the skip button? Yeah. Oh yeah. Servo skull. It's Temple Guard we're gonna work with. I basically got to work up the flats and the renders on his cloth. Because the blue speed paint is good as like a base painting, but when you do it like as much as we did here, you start to notice like all the errors. You kind of have to use it as like an underpainting. Try to get some highlights going with a slightly lighter blue. What's up, Dragon? What you doing? You're still kicking it in Final Fantasy racks? I played the first one and I'm like, I don't know. I'm still not that into it. It still has like elements that I don't like from just general Japanese RPGs. In terms of like the way they're written and the way they're put together. Which kind of makes me bored over time. Like I beat the remake. And by the end of it I was so on like cruise control that I just got really bored of it. I knew I was at the end, so I was like, alright, whatever. Let's just finish this. Move on. Nice. It's good that you enjoy it. It's good that, like, I mean, it has its audience. I'm just not that audience. I just remember the whole ending of the last one, and everyone was like, oh, it was so cool. It was such a crazy fight, but then the whole time I'm sitting there thinking, like, the whole time I was doing that fight, all I was doing was just countering. Like, I had the sword that gave me the counter, and that's what I equipped, and every time he attacked me with something big, I would just use the counter, and it would counter him, and I would take no damage, and I would do damage to him. And that was the whole fight. And I was like, that's not good. Like, it was so anticlimactic because there was so much going on the screen. I was like, wow, it would really be cool if this fight felt the way the screen was trying to make me feel. But it just didn't. So, like, I don't know. Oh, I know the song. I just wasn't really in the story either. Like, it's one of those things. Because it's one of the, like, a lot of Japanese games try to get metaphysical. It's that concept of, like, oh, look how cool and awesome we are because we're approaching this story using this, like, weird idea of what could be. But, like, I don't know, over time of me playing stuff like that, it's like there's no tension. If you're just gonna make shit up as we go along, like, I'm just assuming at some point here you're gonna make shit up for how the ending happened, and then I'm just not gonna feel satisfied by the entire process. Which tends to happen. And it's not just Final Fantasy. A lot of JRPGs do that. I know JRPGs kind of like almost derogatory now. Just takes me too long to say Japanese-centered RPGs or Japanese-origined RPGs. Because there's a very specific way of writing that comes out of Japan and their video game industry that's like, people like it. That's cool. Not for everyone. Well, the ending has to feel like it was built up properly, like that it needs to feel like a good payoff. And I've noticed that a lot of, like, in a lot of Japanese writing, even in, like, Metal Gear, which I do enjoy, like, the Metal Gear writing a lot, it still has, like, those moments where I'm like, ugh. Like, when they create, like, a new... You're already, like, 5 hours in, and then someone's giving you the reveal speech where they're like, oh, it was Shadow Moses the whole time, and you're like, what? But then your character's like, Shadow Moses? And then they go on this whole spiel about how Shadow Moses is a thing, and you're like, okay, so this wasn't a thing until right now. And the only reason it's a thing right now is because it solves a couple writing problems. So you've invented the answer without building to the answer. Which just makes it seem weird. Like, ugh. Like, I love some of the core writings in those series just because it's good, but then occasionally when they do their twists, you're like, alright, calm down. It's not that crazy of a twist. Basically just made some shit up. Yeah, he's crazy. I mean, maybe I gotta start going to more bands. Even though I'm in a college town, I feel like I don't have too much of like a decent music nightlife. Like, I used to hang out at a coffee shop that was also a record store. It eventually had to leave here because the guy that was running it, his wife got a new job, so he moved it up to Pittsburgh. So he's up in Pittsburgh now, which is kind of cool. And it's like a really good vibe. Like the place is just awesome. And he was trying to turn it into a local music place, like where bands could go to play. But I feel like he only got like a couple to come out, and that was it. And there really wasn't like as big of a musical scene locally. And now he's in Pittsburgh, and because it's like a bigger city and there's a lot more going on, he has like a music night, like actual like concert stuff almost every week about now. And it's like serious bands, they're coming out for like album releases. And it's just this small little record shop with like a nice little patio outside. And I'm like, damn, that sucks. Like, I really wish we had something similar here. Like, the only show I've ever been to, I had to drive up to Wilmington to see a, it was a taiko drum show, which is basically just like a specific instrument and like kind of its history and all that. And it was like, oh, that's cool. Well, I mean, the core of all Japanese RPG writing is, hey, we're gonna go kill God. And you're like, all right, how are we gonna do that? And it's like, well, we're gonna get really strong. It's like, okay, sounds reasonable. I'm in. I'm invested. Step 1, get swole. Get them gains. I think where probably the place where Japanese games shine the best, horror games. 100% horror games. I have never, like, American horror games have the same issue that all horror genre in America has, of like, hey, there's a monster and you're gonna get hit with jump scares. There's like no tension or build up. There's nothing like weird extra, like that feels, it has that feeling of something toying with you that you know you can't stop. It gives you hope that you can, but then you just never do. And like nowhere's safe, that kind of thing. Like American horror is just like, here's a monster, we're gonna try to make it look really scary, and hopefully it's decent for you. Japanese horror is like, we're gonna make you think of things differently in your life, and you're gonna be afraid of them. And they really nail that in like video games and everything. They have a really good sense for horror. Because I feel like Japanese horror games have tried more things with the horror genre in like such a short period of time than like any other like ethnic background, I guess, video game company. Like I still consistently think about the mechanics of Siren. Like, my mind's still blown that we haven't really tried that again with like modern tech and stuff. Because it really was one of like the coolest ideas I've ever seen for a horror game. For the uninitiated. No, Dead Space is just jump scares. It's jump scares and throwing bullet sponges in front of you, which is just like, oh, I can't overcome this. And that's it. Meanwhile, you've got games like Siren from like the old PS2, and I think they released some on PS3, but I never played them, so I couldn't tell you if they like matched up to the pedigree or whatever. So the entire premise of Siren is something's happening in a village, your car breaks down nearby, you see a police officer who you try to wave down to help you, he comes over and he shoots you and kills you. You fall into a river nearby that's being affected by this thing that's happening at this local village, this paranormal event. You wake up at the other side of the river where you're basically on the shore in this village, and you're surviving. You're trying to survive. You don't have any weapons. You have nothing. But what you do have is something you've noticed is like you start getting like weird little headaches. And in the first instance where you come across like people, right? You realize you have the ability to tune your thoughts to be able to see through the eyes of these people. So you can physically, the way it worked was on the old PS2, you would press a button and you would try, I think it was like one of your directional pad buttons, and then you would rotate one of your analog sticks to try to tune into the eyes of the things in the area. That way you kind of knew where they were, and you could check them that way. You could look through their eyes and see what's going on. But there was this like built-in stealth system in the game where like they could hear you moving around and they would go check things. And what would happen is when they wanted to, if they heard you and were like, I'm gonna go check that out, it would basically, you would start getting flashes of their vision. It would just be like quick cuts with like static, just like as it goes over to the person who then turns and looks in the direction where you are, and then it goes back to you. And there's like this back and forth of like, oh god, oh god, oh god, and you're trying to find a place to hide while this thing's coming for you, and you're seeing first person view it coming over and looking around corners to try to find you and stuff. It was so cool. It was such a cool idea. It was so horrifying. And it's just not something we really get. out of American or pretty much European or like any kind of horror. That's the thing, though. I've seen Silent Hill Shattered Memories. I don't know why people thought it was good. It was like a running simulator. You just run. You'd have to run through like a maze and get out the other side. There wasn't really tension. Honestly, if you want tension, in a horror game, probably the closest anyone outside of Japan's gotten to a decent horror game, even though the payoff arguably isn't that great. Songs of Horror is this incredible game that's sort of done in the old style of like the fixed camera kind of horror genre, which is, you know, good. But the whole thing about it is there's actual tension added, because for every area you go to in that game, like for all the elements of gameplay you try to get through, like all the parts of the story, all the characters you have access to, if they die, they're dead. You lose their abilities, you lose the elements that they might interact with in the story. They're just dead. So there's a level of tension in that game that's uncommon, because whereas in most games like Silent Hill, even the old ones, where if you die, it's like, well, you want to load back at one of your older saves, which, yeah, okay, let's do that, and then we'll just slam face against wall until we get out of here. Drink a burgundy for the bags. It looks so good. So smooth. But in this game, if your character dies, it dies. There's no getting it back. You only have so many attempts to make it through the game before you can't. And then you have to like go back and redo the chapter. I watched one of the people I watch on Twitch play it because I suggested it to him, and he finally one year was like, all right, I'm gonna try it. And he played it, and it was hilarious watching him play it. Because like knowing he could lose characters made him tense up so much during certain parts of the game. And then once in a while, he would just make a quick split-second decision without really thinking too much, and it would result in the death of one of his characters, and it would, like, you could see it. He was just like, God damn it. Like, I remember, he didn't quite pick up on, there's a part where you get to see, like, this house, and it's a reconstruction stuff. Like, there was a blueprint on a table that was like, oh, here and here and here. And explicitly, it was showing where some scaffolding outside was. And it was important because there's a part where you're in an attic and you have to choose to jump out one of two windows. And if you remember the plans, you remember where the scaffolding is. And literally, as he clicked to go out one of the windows with a character he just got because he just lost the prior character. This guy lived for maybe 2 minutes. Like, he got it, he ran it into the building, he was like, alright, let's try this part. And he clicked on the window and he went, oh wait, this is what those plans were for. As his character leapt to its death. It was so funny. Such a good game, though. I love the hell out of that game. Well, like, this is the other thing. We don't need the games to come back. Like, all these games coming back as remakes and remasters, and everyone's like, it's all about nostalgia, it's all about nostalgia. There's a lot of the schools of psychiatry view nostalgia as a negative emotion. Because it's this distinct desire to be stuck in the past and to not really look forward to new things. And that's all I can think of whenever I'm on the podcast that I'm on and everyone's like, ooh, remake of an old game, it's great nostalgia. And I'm like, uh-huh. Man, I wish you could look forward to something and not just be like, God, I can't wait to play this old thing. Dark purple somewhere. Where the hell did it go? I feel like we might get Servo Pope done today. He's not far off. Like, I loved Silent Hill 2. I played it all the time on PS2. I love the idea of it, just kind of looking into, like, the psychological self-torment of a character. I was like, wow, this is really awesome. This is crazy. All these weird things going on and being related to this person's personal hell. It's awesome. Now they're like, hey, you want to play it again? No. No plans. Don't think I want to. I think one of the, I'm pretty sure the one person on our podcast that does game dev had a hand in that System Shock game. Can't remember. Thought he did. Like, personally, I prefer the advancement. Like, System Shock, great. Cool. But then BioShock, right? Like, BioShock comes out as sort of like the next System Shock. Taking components of what made System Shock so good for so many people and turning it into, you know, their whole thing. And that's cool. As opposed to just being like, hey, let's remake System Shock. Instead, it's like, hey, that game was good. Let's make a love letter to it. I just prefer that approach more than anything else. Which is actually why I'm like, even though I don't enjoy them, even though like I'm probably not gonna keep going. I played the 1, but I'm probably not gonna keep going with the Final Fantasy VII remake. I actually kind of like what they did with that more so than normal. Because it is basically a retelling of the story, but with like a twist and like a slightly different perspective. Because it's technically not the original story. It's like a more deeper idea of the story. Which is like, that's definitely better, in my opinion. I've definitely got more respect for that approach. All right, let me get the blue shader. Oh yeah, anytime a company can move past being stuck in like their history. And are still able to bring something forward, that's a massively good thing in my opinion. Massively good thing. It's kind of good in that like it lays into this idea where there was nothing they could do with this remake where they weren't going to make enemies out of fans. Like they just weren't. There was nothing they were going to be able to do with bringing this remake forward that wasn't going to at least convert a good percentage of people who were like, I'm a massive Square Enix fan, into like, oh, fuck Square Enix. Like, they weren't going to be able to do anything that was going to prevent that. So, like, you might as well make a call that seems, like, beneficial for the overall, like, story and release. And the creatives working on it who are like, why am I working on an old game to try to bring it up to date? Instead, they actually, you know, they get to keep being creative. They get to take a look at the story from a different angle. They get to actually do fun stuff. Flex their creative muscle rather than being told that the people that came before are just better than them and they're not allowed to try anything. Like, that's got to be the worst feeling ever. You know, you get into gaming, you're a person who's like, oh, I can't wait to write good stories that people like, and then you get into the industry and the industry tells you you can't write your own stuff and you're basically just, you know, taking someone's old work and using it. It's gotta feel bad. So to at least be told that, like, the industry trusts you enough to take this old beloved brand and bring it up to speed, that's got to feel not bad. That's got to feel okay. Like, it kind of works out. Get a little gold on this imperial symbol here. There you go. Sprint Turtle CGI. Oh, Spirit Turtle CGI? Wait, what are we talking about? Where are we going? Is this for like a summonable spirit in Final Fantasy? I was always more of a Wild Arms character or player myself. I actually really liked Wild Arms. I'm trying to remember it though. I kind of want to just look up the story to make sure that I remember it correctly. Because I could have swore one of the key elements in this story led up to the sacrifice that one of the characters makes. Like, it did this really interesting thing where it gave you this massive, like, 5 or 6 hour long story of you defeating the ultimate bad guy with a group of misfits, basically. A princess who ran away, a Tomb Raider adventurer who mostly just steals from the dead, and this guy who is trying to keep his life a secret. He tries to help as many people as he can, but eventually people find out that he is an old weapon from like an ancient war that happened. Basically, it's a person that was infused with a morphing gun in their body that's extremely destructive. And everyone's kind of afraid of it. Oh, Shield Hero Season 2. Yeah, that was horrible. I'm really disappointed in Shield Hero. Even the new season's still kind of disappointing. God, what were we talking about? I was kind of spacing out there for a second. Looking. Oh yeah, the Wild Arm stuff. So you beat the ultimate bad guy, and then they do this whole like 10 years later concept, where I think it's the princess. She's back in position of power, and she's like leading her people towards great things. And the grave robber goes to see her and catch up since it's been a while, and they're like, hey, awesome, they talk like friends, everything's good, everything's cool. And I think eventually, because they're kind of heroes at that point, because everyone knows what they did and saved so many people. And then like some bad stuff starts happening again that's reminiscent of what used to happen or was happening when they were like younger. So they're like, oh, we gotta get the band back together. So they have to go find the guy who helped them out, the Wild Arms user. And they come to find out that, like, despite having saved the world, everyone still treats him like shit. And, like, his old friends, I mean, they didn't really talk to each other all that much. So, like, it was a thing, but it did kind of exist as, like, everyone walked away from each other, and he went back to living life as a person everyone hated. Like, he got no benefit of it, but he was still trying to help people. Like, he was more heroic than most people in that story, just because, like, even with the rest of the world treating him like a monster, he still did so much just to try to, like, make everyone's lives better. It was this really cool idea for, like, character work in an RPG. I liked it, at least. I thought it was cool. Get that lens going. I actually really like the Wild Arms story in general, because unlike kind of what we just talked about with what JRPGs do, or Japanese-centric RPGs do, in order to try to create intrigue by just sort of generating kind of like a false sense of, like, intrigue or twists or something, it actually laid everything out on the line. It was like, this is how the world works, this is what they're dealing with, these are the people involved. It had, like, very good writing that didn't try to find a crutch in just being like, let me reveal to you what's actually happening 5 hours into the game. It's like, Jesus. Alright. The focus was on the characters, the trials, the tests they were going through, some societal issues. It was just really cool. There's a lot of, like, writing and texture in these tassels that I kind of want to get. Season 3 was better, but dude, they did not capitalize on the explosive reveal of Season 1. The idea of the weapons being, like, more than what people thought. Like, I loved that idea that was coming forward of just, like, things are weirder than even you might think. And I was like, oh, this could be really good. Like, dude, that scene where he got pushed, like, he got pushed farther than he's ever been by the people of that kingdom, who were, like, trying to take everything from him and still lying about him and, like, what he did and what he represents. And then, like, that scene still sticks with me to this day, because it was, like, so well timed, of, like, him going into that darkness and having his weapon go, hey, do you want me to fix this for you? And, like, that was that moment of, like, oh my god, is he about to kill all these people? That was such a wild moment. Well, that's the thing. In the current season, I guess he solved the riddle of the weapons. The idea of if you personally feel or put forward the air of being a paragon, the weapon kind of takes control of your mind and gives you incredible power. So the weapons do two things. They either wait for you to get like evil, and then they hone in on that and they give you power based on the sin you're representing at the time. Which, according to what I read on the wiki, there were whole story arcs of that I don't think they even touched on. Like, they skipped over the Spear Guy's story arc of him being like tied into his sin. Because the last thing I remember is him calling the Shield hero dad or something, and being like extremely pious because he learned that he could dip into a lot of power that his weapon had by being pious. Like, there's just this level of it where I was like, why would they do that? Why would they be like, oh, let's just skip all of this and just go straight for, oh yeah, they have access to their superpowers now. Dude, I've been doing this for a while, man. We're working on a Servo Pope right now. I used to do this all the time, but it's been like only until I think the beginning of last year did I go like, hell yeah. Yeah, because I remember reading in the stories that like they were all supposed to, basically all the other heroes. He's the first hero that realizes that leaning into the more pious direction of being a hero gives you power that's different than just easily leaning into rage and anger and hate and all that. And then he was supposed to go around and help all the other heroes realize that, because that's like his whole goal at that point, is to fix all the issues. But like, they skipped. I feel like they just hard skipped the story. What's up, Arturo? Alright, Servo Pope. Let me pull it in for you guys. Up the gain a little bit. Get the focus going. We gotta get the basing on. But yeah, Servo Pope. Basically together with his little mech hand. I might hit the inside of his robe with some Leviathan blue, just to darken it up. And to those just showing up, this is the Zealot that we finished. With her chainsword flamethrower. We made all the metal look like it's oxidized. We did some grit near where the flames are coming out. Pretty fun. Pretty fun. Now we're just waiting for her basing to dry. Let me get the Leviathan blue. We'll do the inside of his robe with Leviathan. I think next up we'll probably we'll look into, I guess, working on the rogue trader, because like at this point we're down to the two bug tokens that the Amble can use in combat, and the 2 ratlings. So like the rogue trader is the last of like the full-sized human beings that I have access to for painting, which I think could be pretty cool. But let's get the basing down. It is 3 o'clock almost, so I might want to get moving too. Crackle paste. And again, if you're not part of the Discord, I did just purchase a Cerastus Knight. Box is too huge. I got the Castigator, because the Castigator provides Chaos War Dogs with Sustained 1, which, since the meta is mostly about using chain cannons, which are a lot of shots, it is a really good ability to dump Sustained 1 on multiple allied units. And he hits like a truck still. He's got a really good weapon. Let's get the basing material on this guy. I was at the store today looking at it, and I was like, I still hate how they look, and I was trying to think of what I had on hand that might help with it. We just finished 2 Mutalith Vortex Beasts, and those Mutalith Vortex Beasts have a ton of extra parts that they came with. Because you can technically make Slaughter Brutes out of them, and Slaughter Brutes have these really cool, like, bone spire attachments that go on them. That I've already used them on another Knight conversion that I have, and I really liked how they looked. Oh yeah, no, I kind of want to build it on stream, because we're going to be doing green stuffing. I'm going to try to record it as well. I'm going to record elements of it. I can kind of show converting a Horus Heresy Cerastus Knight up to 40k standards for Chaos Knights. We're going to be filing some of the symbols off, since I believe the legs have the old Eye of Horus symbol on them, which, okay, don't want that. So we've got a lot to do. I've got a lot of shields from all of my Kyric Acolytes that I can apply to it. Has like extra layered armor. I've got bits from my old Demon Princes in case I want to try to make the weapon that he has look a little more chaos-y, chaos-ish. I also have the excess blade that Magnus has, because you can get 2 different Magnus blades. One's his really long scimitar, and then the other is the spear that he has. I used the spear because it's cool looking. So I have the scimitar floating around here somewhere. Sadly, since I was sick over the weekend, I wasn't able to get my game in with my Mutalith Vortex Beast like I wanted. I also wasn't able to record anything because my brain was fried. Like, I was so out of it, man. I hated it, because like leading up to this weekend, I was like, oh, I really need to record that Underworlds game. so I can start editing it, get the pieces together, and get all that going. But like, dude, I was done. Like Saturday hit, I had 2 hours of sleep, and I was just like, oh no. Like, it felt so bad. No, that's good. I can use the generics, but I still want them, I still want it to be adorned, right? Like, we have a little bit of time. I can show you what I'm talking about. Just clear some of this gunk off. You gotta kind of work with a wet brush around the outer edges of these. Okay, I'm getting a phone call. 1 second. Alright, so that'll be dry by midweek when we hopefully come back on like Thursday, maybe. But yeah, most of the big guys done. We'll get working on this guy. We got the 2 rattlings and the 2 bug tokens. Bug tokens probably won't take long because they're mostly going to be about light and texture than anything else. This guy might take a while though because he is so multi-layered and crazy looking, dude. I actually really love this character model. Let me try to focus. Let me fight my camera real quick. There you guys go. So he's got the friggin' pipe, which is badass. He's got the creature over his shoulder. He's got the pirate swallowtail coat or split tail coat that has that feeling of 2-layer. We're gonna try to do both color layers, outer and inner. I'm just not sure which ones. I think we might do Leviathan blue outside and then like something really light on the inside. I'm not sure what yet though. Maybe like a red or a magenta. He's got the chest armor. He's got the frickin' symbol on the chest armor. Got the daggers, the pouches, like all this stuff. There's so much detail for this guy that we're gonna have to hit. He looks really cool though. Rogue traders are always really cool looking though. They always have that like pirate look because they're basically just pirates. So my idea for his pose is, how do I put this? So the hope is I'm going to be able to pose him so that he's kind of like, he's not fully standing, but he's not like kneeling, crouched like some people have shown, that which is weird. I want it to be so that the base, right? How they have it set is he's always on the base and it always looks like he's walking forward. I want it to be more like it looks like the base is sideways for him. I want him to be kind of like leaning on his back foot with his guns in his left arm. So he'll be leaning on his back right leg with his left leg slightly extended out a little bit with his bolt cannon facing that direction and kind of up with his upper body kind of leaned slightly forward and turned. And then I want his blade to be kind of like back in like a getting ready to swing position, but I want it to look like he's kind of shooting his bolt cannon to the side while taking fire and getting ready to swing with his attack. I might use small gauge wire to make it look like the power weapon's charged up and is like going all over the place. I might look on Etsy for bracing for impact while getting ready to swing stance while shooting, kind of that situation. I might look into getting those Etsy things, those little shot things that where you make it and you can glue it into the barrel so it looks like it's firing. I might get that for this guy because you need 2 of them for the bolt cannon since he has 2 barrels for that thing. So it would just look like he's got both of them firing. While aiming, we OSL it, we do all that work, which could be kind of cool. But let me see if I can find the stuff for you guys before I get moving here. So I've collected over time so many parts, as anyone who plays this game has. So we've got things from my Mauler Fiend, like these, the tendrils, that I think I might try to add to him, along with some Chaosy armor components, which could find good placement on him. We've got cool things, like giant Chaos banners, that I might be able to attach to him in interesting ways. We've got a lot of Tzeentch functionality, like Tzeentch banners. Odd weaponry, which I'm gonna have to clean this up. Actually, I think this is Eldar. No, this is the Change Blade from the Greater Demon. But we have access to Demon Prince weapons, like the axe, which I might actually, for his weapon, I might replace it by doing like an axe hilt, and then get the Demon Prince blade to come out the front end of it, and then make this his Night Blade. But yeah, we have a lot of interesting parts we can try to attach in certain areas. We should have another helmet. Like, we should have another Chaos Knight helmet, so I can actually do a Chaos themed helmet on him. Or I do have a bunch of Lords of Change heads. I'm not fully sold on that. Other things. So we have Zangor shields. And I'm pretty sure somewhere in here, I think I have all the Kyric shields as well. Maybe. We got another one of those giant banners. We've got shields from the Ogrins. But I think I want to lean mostly into the Kyric and Zangor shields as possible shields to put on him. Ugh. Talking too much without drinking water. But yeah, I got a lot of bits to look at. Because we're basically going to try to coat him in, like, Tzeentch themed things. It's going to be the big goal here. And we're going to try to do it while recording it, while streaming, so you guys can see the conversion, which I think will be fun for you. But yeah. This bad boy's got to be painted. So close to finishing out the Blackstone Fortress characters, the Anvil, the bugs. I'll be able to record a combat arena game. No, yeah. I gotta take a look at it. I'm not sold on the idea. Actually, now I'm starting to worry. I gotta take a look at something, because I'm noticing now that none of those parts I just showed you were my Mutalith Vortex Beast parts. So I'm not sure if I actually took my Mutalith Vortex Beast parts off the rack, which is kind of keyly important here. Because they come with these really interesting looking like bone spire pieces that I used on one of my knights to look like gold piercing through their armor. And it looks really good. And I was hoping to use that here, and if I can't, oh no. I can't remember if I just decided I don't want to get these parts, or if I put them in one box and set it aside. I gotta check when I get home. Ugh. Alright, either way, I gotta go help my parents, who got me sick, and then ruined my weekend. But, you know, now I gotta go help them again. And, yeah. Hopefully Thursday, we're back on this guy. Hopefully this weekend, I'll be able to play a game. Hopefully I'll be able to record during this week an Underworlds match to show you guys. You know, fingers crossed. Gotta get on it. Voice is coming back. Energy's coming back. So we're just about to get back into it. Thanks for hanging out. Till next time, guys.